Hey guys, welcome back to Permasand Invitational. We are in round 6, very deep, getting very close to the money, and we have two very strong competitors here that will both be very pricey, I would assume, in this upcoming SPL. Xray will probably get retained, but we'll get into SPL strategy talk in another video that is coming up sooner rather than later, though. It's coming up pretty fast. Anyhow, Xray and Finch here. They are not in the money yet, even with a victory here, and this is the lower bracket, so one of them will be eliminated. But man, are they getting damn close to that cash money. These guys have definitely played against each other before. I had Xray on my ROAPL team, and we round one had to go against Finchinator, and Xray actually beat Finch in black-white in that tour. That certainly does not mean that Xray is the better black-white player. It's hard to bet against Finch against most players, but Xray definitely more competent and has more of a shot there than you may think. So I actually expect a closely contested series here that could easily go all 3 games, and all 3 games could be very close. But we're going to find out. We're going to start randomly in DPP, and this is game 1. Xray is going to be on the bottom against Finch on the top. Alright, so we have a lead Flygon and Uxie respectively. They're both going to stay in. There is U-turn into Heatran, and it's just going to be rocks on the other side. He's now going to land T-Wave, and it's going to be rocks for Xray as well. So both players with the hazard. U-turn gets out of there, and here's Clef, and that's going to be immediately Lava Plumed, which does about a fourth, 24%. Roserade sneaking in for Xray. It's going to get knocked off. It's going to lose its Black Sludge, which, as you guys know, on a poison type is basically just lefties. And he's going to go for Toxic Spikes here. So he now has Rocks and Toxic Spikes down. Now and regular Spikes as well. So Xray stacking hazards beneath the team of Finchinator. He's got a ton of them. He's got Rocks, Toxic Spikes, and 2 layers of Spikes. So turn 7, Xray has established 4 different hazards. If he can keep those, and you would certainly think that he has a Ghost somewhere in the back, given the way his team looks, then those are going to be an issue for Finch throughout the game. Iron Head here is not going to do a lot of damage, but it does find a flinch, and he's going to find a second flinch in a row. One more flinch or a crit will kill this Uxie, but he doesn't find it this time. U-turn, however, fails to pop the sub, and that's going to leave Uxie dead to rights next time it comes in to those hazards, unless the hazards get removed between now and then. But like I said, I strongly suspect that Xray has a Ghost somewhere in the back. But then again, if he does, it would have to be his last poke, because we've now seen 5 pokes as the Coon gets roared out. Maybe he doesn't have a Ghost. I still think it's last poke. Again, Ghost, but we will find out. Here is Clefable, and here is Jirachi, respectively. Substitute once again, thinking it cannot be broken. However, Encore is going to happen through the sub, and he's going to keep him substituting all day, all night. Knockoff not even close to breaking the sub. And the Encore continues. Seismic Toss will break it when combined with the knockoff, but he can just sub again. That's exactly what he does. In fact, he has to do that if he's going to stay in. Critical hit on knockoff, irrelevant there. The Encore still going on. Seismic Toss again pops the sub. This is a very long Encore. Jesus. They must have loved the Jirachi's performance to want this much of an Encore. And it is finally going to end. Here comes Iron Head, and now that is going to be encored. So he's going to be stuck on Iron Head, and that's going to prompt out Magnezone, which is hoping that the Jirachi stays in, and it does. He's going to be stuck on the Iron Head. He's going to have to hope the Encore ends sooner rather than later in order to have any shot at fighting this matchup. He could U-turn out, or he could have HP Ground, or he could have Fire Punch. But the Encore seems to continue, and insult to injury, Magnezone is going to catch a Thunderbolt power, but it does not matter. Rachi is locked on Iron Head, and out of here it goes. The lead gets bigger for Finch, though he does sacrifice his Uxie here to make it a little bit less of a lead. We find ourselves now in a 5-4 with unreveals on both sides. Lati continues to roar, and it is a Ghost in the back, as I thought it would be for Xray. It is Gengar. It's going to connect with Focus Blast. That's an overprediction, obviously. Didn't think that it would be hitting Lati. And he's going to be punished with a 55% Dragon Pulse. Magnezone comes in at this point. Xray with the balls and the correct play here to go Focus Blast again, but unluckily he's going to miss. That would have killed it, and he's going to miss 2 Focus Blasts in a row. Very unlucky for Xray. Either one of those would have killed the Magnezone here, but Finch catches the break that he needs and stays ahead, but it would have been a tie there had either of the Focus Blasts connected with the Magnezone and killed it. So, Still 5-4, and Finch has multiple hidden pokes still. We know the full team for Xray. Lati and Flygon come in at the same time. U-turn a great chunk there on the way out, 44%. Gengar comes in, and it sneaks in on Roost, so it has an opportunity to do something before it dies. And something turns out to be Will-O-Wisp, which is not that exciting, but you might as well do something and get some amount of value before it succumbs. So that leaves us in a 5-3 situation with Finch, as he has been all game in the lead. U-turn again, not too many options. Heatran or Kun are the only choices. He opts for the Heatran. Now Clefable comes in for that. Lava Plume, a little bit better than last time. I think it did 24 last time. Here's 26 this time. Doesn't make too much of a difference. It's going to have to be either spot on predictions, possibly with crits for the Flygon, or Xray might have to go down to last poke Kun to get this done. And we still don't know the last poke for Finch either. There's the Outrage, which he's stuck on from before. He's going to be unstuck now as he confuses himself, and that's going to enable him to get out of the way. Finch, of course, is just going to wish up, and his Rachi's going to be nice and healthy, but he's now going to go to Machamp, which was his previously unrevealed last poke. That's going to step on the Toxic Spike, so it can't get burnt here. It's just going to get poisoned first. It does not have Guts. I mean, it can have Guts, but it's going to have No Guard, as they all do in this generation. And that's going to make Dynamic Punch never miss. It's going to connect super effectively with the Heatran, and down that goes. Leaves us in a 5-2. This is getting grim for Xray. And Finch gets yet another knockout, so it is going to be only the Kun against the 4 remaining Pokemon from Finch. He's going to go straight for the aggressive play of Magnezone and immediately start Thunderbolting. Kun is going to protect for lefties, no reason not to. Neither player brought Tyranitar, which doesn't happen too often in DPP, but here we are. And that's going to enable the Surf knockout on the zone. So the Kun from 19% and unboosted is going to have to find a way, somehow, some way, to come all the way back for Xray. Otherwise, he will drop game 1 to Finch. Clefable is the best thing he's got here. He's going to Seismic Toss it aggressively. He's got both Protect and Substitute. And we haven't seen the last move, but you've got to think it's either Calm Mind or Ice Beam. There's Seismic Toss, not breaking those 101 HP subs, but just as we saw before, Encore is going to make it so we can't do anything other than sub. And with that, it's going to be a concession. Encore is so strong in Gen 4, and this is a perfect example of why. So game 1 goes to Finch. Xray must win the remaining 2 games in order to not be eliminated from the tour, one of which would have to be Finch's best tier, Black and White, which is what Xray decided to do next. So he's going to have to beat Finch at his own game, Black and White, or he is going to be out of here, and then we would go to a theoretical Game 3, which would be ADV. But the big question is, can Xray defeat one of the best and most respected Black-White players in the world in Finchinator? I've seen it done before. Like I said, I had Xray beat Finch in ROAPL earlier this year in Black-White, so it certainly can happen, but it's hard to bet against Finch in this kind of situation. So here we are. They actually both opted for, they have remarkably similar teams. Finch, as always, I say this every narration, Finch does not leave home without Lati and without Ferrothorn. And here they are again. Finch brings them every single fucking game. He cannot play Black-White without these Pokemon. But what's really interesting is that even though they both opted for a Rain team here, they have a lot of pokes in common. They have, 5 pokes in common? Yeah, so very little difference here, actually. The only difference is 4 pokes in common, I'm sorry. There's the Jirachi and the Thundy over here, as opposed to the Lati and the, what is the other difference? And the Ferrothorn. But yeah, these are very, very similar. They're both opting for Rain, but they're both doing Rain with Volcarona, so it's a little bit awkward. We'll see how this plays out. But the team's remarkably similar here, and the advantage starts out for Xray immediately. Wow, what a turn. What is Finch doing? He gets donked on turn 1. He sets the Rain up for his opponent, lets Thunder come down, stays in, and instantly loses Politoed right out the gate. Turn 1 dead. Terrible turn for Finch. I mean, great advantage right out the gate from Xray. So he's got to be happy with his start. They both have rocks, and he just flat out has the Pokemon advantage. Now he's going to agility up against the Lati, probably has HP Ice. He sure does. Super effective. That goes down thanks to Ice Gem. What is this game? It is a disaster so far for Finch. He's getting absolutely destroyed by Xray. The Thunderous here apparently is a Pokemon that Finch just cannot handle. I don't know if this is a matchup nightmare or what, but it's like Thundy is just plowing through Finch's team on its own. Down that goes. What is this game? Remember when I said Finch was good at Black-White? I take it back. He fucking sucks. What is this? He's getting plowed by just the Agility Thunderous. Yeah, that's a concession. That's a turn 10 concession. Finch is going to get donked by one Pokemon and just smacked up just like that. That was the worst Finch Black-White game I've ever seen in my life. Who the fuck pays $25K for this loser in SPL? Gets absolutely smacked around by one Pokemon from Xray. His team was not built to defeat Thunderous, and he got crushed. And just like that, Finch is going to have to lick his wounds, and we are going to a Game 3. Xray against Finchinator. Elimination on the line in an ADV game. Here it is. Switching those sides. Xray on the bottom, Finch on the top. Zapdos and Meta, respectively, are both going to stay in, and they're going to do heavy damage to each other with Thunderbolt and Rock Slide, respectively. Here's the BP that's going to go to Snorlax, and it's just going to be Thunderbolt. Curse. And yeah, he's just going to begin boosting up. He can put pressure on here. +1 return is not good enough against Meta. This is an obvious boom turn, so we'll see what he switches. And he's going to go to Zapdos to let that die to the match, which I think is fine. Dugtrio here with the follow-up. The only way this goes really badly is if Finch has like a Porygon 2 or if he can follow up with something like a CB Mence. Neither of those things occur. It is just Zapdos. Snorlax takes it just fine, especially when there's no sand. But speak of the devil, sand does come down, so Lax is going to be a lot less bulky now that that's going on. But we know there's a Dugtrio that can kill this T-Tar, so he's got to be careful about that. Starmie comes into Rock Slide here. 47% is a decent chunk. He's got to be careful to not die to a follow-up. He plays it aggressively and goes for Surf, and he flat out dies to the Rock Slide, even without the assistance of the Sand. But again, as we discussed, there is Dugtrio here, so it's just a revenge kill. Leaves us in a 4-4 situation with unreveals for both. Zapdos again dictating the tempo, and again is simply going to go for Thunderbolt into the Dugtrio, I might add, knowing that there would be a switch. Thunderbolt again, and Lax is going to rest up. Usually this kind of team with Rest Lax has Magneton, but perhaps this one doesn't. There is Thunderbolt, and Lax is just going to tough it out and continue taking the hits. Not sure where he thinks this is going, begging for a crit sooner rather than later, but he does kill his second sleep turn. He's due to wake up, but he's got a Heracross staring him down on the other side. Finch's team certainly does not like Dugtrio. The Meta, the T-Tar, and the Hera all get donked by it, and Finch seemingly did not bring a Porygon 2, so he's just accepting that Dugtrio is difficult. There's a Meteor Mash and an Attack Raise for Xray, and that's going to prompt Finch out. Here's Rachi. There's another Meteor Mash, this one not finding an Attack Raise, but we know that he's not Choice Band locked on it. We've seen the lefties, so he can go for Earthquake, and he does exactly that, but Zapdos comes in and blanks it for Finch, but it's free lefties again for Xray. He's going to protect at this point. Thunderbolt from Zapdos. Meta here could boom. I don't know that I would, but he can. And he decides that's worth it, so he's just going to trade with the Meta. So we've got ourselves, once again, wow, I don't like that play from Finch. What if Dugtrio had come in for Xray? Missed opportunity there to just free kill the Heracross had he gone Dougie. In fact, Dougie would have nailed the Jirachi as well, so I really don't get why Xray didn't go for it. That seems very questionable to me. I think I definitely would have sent the Dugtrio in that situation if I were Xray, but he sees it differently, and he's now working with his Coon against the Jirachi here. Calm Mind's up after taking 35% from HP Grass. Should survive the follow-up. Yep, Psychic going to come up short. And Surf is going to put Jirachi well into Dugtrio range. Psychic takes it out, but this should just be a Dugtrio revenge kill. And it just comes down at this point to what the last poke is for Finch. Salamence very well could get it done. Both the Choice Band set and the DD set would be very dangerous in the situation, so he needs to avoid a Body Slam Para. I do not understand the Dugtrio here. I think Lax had to stay in and find a Body Slam Para. I don't get the play. Brick Break, he would have survived either way, even without the lefties. Oh, he doesn't have Body Slam, he just has Return. So I guess he was dead either way. Even a Crit Return would not, well, it depends on the damage roll. Crit Return could have killed there, I guess, with the Tyranitar Sand. So I guess that was the only way out for Xray, but he needed to get lucky at the end. He needed a critical hit. There was no other way to do it, and he had the one turn window to find it and did not. So Finch is going to clean him up with the DD Salamence. So with that, we've got a 2-1 series victory for Finch. He's damn close to the cash money in the tour, and Xray, with a great run, is going to be eliminated here. Finch is going to live to fight another day. We'll see him again in round 7. I'm pleased with the speed that round 6 is moving at. I believe there's actually only the one match remaining, one or two if I do recall, but it's awesome that here we are on Tuesday and the round is mostly already wrapped up and they're not waiting every game till the weekend. I definitely appreciate that. So I'll continue bringing you guys coverage. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you think Finch stinks or if you've just enjoyed the tour as a whole. And I will see you guys in the next round.